Line is anybody in any situation, John, can come to you and you can kind of take a look at where they're at and come up with a strategy that's going to help them, right? Depending on what their goals are.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about the RSPs again. Right. And are we going to talk about just the RSPs, or are we all? We've already talked a little bit about the tax-free savings accounts, but
yes,
do these things go together?
Absolutely. What I thought I'd share with you are some tips. And there's somewhere. Let me give you about 8 or 9 tips that people can use to effectively create a retirement plan. I know we got a little off topic there, Marla, but I knew we would anyways, right?
Because Marla's so interested in the topic.
Well, look at her.
Well, I bet I've kind of surprised you with a little bit of my knowledge.
No.
Thanks.
I don't bother being surprised.
You're a comedian. You have to find humor in the mundane, right?
Well, I actually have a lot of financial experience, so.
Exactly. So, tip number 1 when you're looking at this, how to create an effective retirement plan, is start early. And that's a, you know...
So I did that.
Perfect. And I know you started at 16.
Yeah.
Now, what motivated you to start at 16?
A friend of mine. I mean, my parents didn't say anything to do it at the time. They probably would have in my 20s, but a friend of mine was doing it. And so I went, I'll do it. So then by the time I was 21 and we had a family meeting, my parents were like, I can't believe you did that. Since
Good for you.
How much money do you have? So they were so impressed. They just had so much more faith in me ever since.
Excellent. And that's great. And so... the key is that you got an early start, and that has huge implications. In fact, if you take 4 groups of people, if you take a 25-year-old, a 35-year-old, 45 and a 55-year-old, if you take that 25-year-old and you say invest $200 a month till you're 65, that person at say a rate of return of 7% is worth about $1.2 million.
I didn't do that much, but yeah.
Well, there you go. And you've got, time's on your side, Marla.
Oh, it really isn't. It really isn't. But, one of my RSPs is invested by my actors union.
Excellent.
So that's a gamble. So one year it grows $10,000 and the next year it loses $12,000.
Yeah.
So it goes up and down.
Okay.
Whereas another one I have with Manulife, it's steady and sure. But you know the rates now.
Yeah.
Because it gets renewed every 2 or 3 or 1 year, and it's like 2 point. So it's bupkis.
Yeah. So Manulife has some excellent products.
Yeah.
And they've even actually, and I'm going to allude to that later. They even have some guarantees on some of their investments.
Yeah.
So you can actually, one of the issues that people have with investing now, and I say this, and I'm stepping away from one of my tips.
I'm sorry.
No, that's good. No, don't worry about it. Let's go with the flow, right? In 2008, there was a dramatic drop in the stock market, right? There was a 42% drop in the Toronto Stock Exchange, which meant if you had $100,000 on one day, it was worth $58,000 the next. Pretty dramatic. They've come up with investments that are guaranteed. So you are guaranteed to have your principal returned and possibly even more regardless of market conditions. So people can wage into the market, say, I want to be in stocks, but I don't want to ever risk anything. You can guarantee that you can have...
Yeah. No mutual funds. Yeah.
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 Oh, I know. Everyone's slamming mutual funds.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. And why's that?
Because I lost a chunk of moon and money.
Well, what was it in?
Mutual.
Mutualness.
It was mutual funds, and it was laddered and stuff. But like half of it went away. I got diagnosed with cancer. I thought I'm gonna give a whole bunch so that by the end of and it's like it was gone. That was it. I took them out.
Wow.
That was it. And every time I meet a financial advisor, I say no mutual funds.
So what do you invest in now?
If I get burned, I get burned.
Okay.
I'm a real conservative person, believe it or not. I'm only wacky in my bedroom, but in my life, my financial thing, look at him, he's like,
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, that's the rest of the show.
Obviously, do you not care about this stuff?
I noticed there was a blip in the listenership.
Yeah, right. Did it go up or down? Oh, that I can get you to smile at. Oh, God. Okay, tell us more advantageous things.
So the thing is, this 10-year gap, this 25-year-old has $1.2 million. He invests $200 a month. This 35-year-old starts 10 years later, and he only has $400,000 at the age of 65 versus $1.2 million. And that 10 years, you think $200 a month times 12 months in a year is $2,400 times 10 years is $24,000 cost that 35-year-old by waiting about $800,000 in retirement income. So the bottom line is start early. And that is what you have attributed to, which is great. So I guess lunch is on you.
Start early,
No,
okay, John.
but I don't have
also,
$400,000.
just I think, correct me if I'm wrong, John, but
Yeah.
start early, sure. But if you haven't started yet, start now.
So and that's the other thing too. So when I have an excellent slide on this. I'm not going to show you, but the other thing is when I show these slides to people, 25, 35, and 45, and the 55-year-old looks at it and said, "So, game over for me?" I say, "No, but now's the time. Start as soon as you
You
can."
got to start now.
The other thing that people should do is do you dollar cost average, Marla? I'm not sure. Do you know what that is?
No, I don't know what that is.
Do you invest every month?
In what?
Well, that's the thing. So as you
invest in
know,
me.
the market is volatile, right? It goes up and down. What you should do is instead of investing in lump sums, is you should start a monthly contribution plan. It does a couple of things. Firstly, it disciplines you, because part of financial planning is discipline. It's just every month paying yourself first, putting investments into something that will grow conveniently. But the other thing too, you don't have to time the market. So if you invest every month and the market goes down, which we assume is bad, right? It's actually good for you because your fixed sum of money buys more units or buys more shares.
So if you do that, you're protecting yourself from market volatility.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
See, he went to
See?
university. He studied this.
I know that.
He's trying to look dumb, but he's not.
He just,
And I'm trying to look smart, but I'm dumb.
so I mean, these are just things. The other thing is too is and a lot of people have access to group RSPs. So I don't know if your friends are self-employed or if they work for companies, but if you work for a company where there is a group RSP plan, that's a great way
Well,
to...
that's the ACTRA. That's
Perfect.
the union, so that's a group plan.
Perfect.
But that's why it's so volatile.
Well, a couple things. First, I don't know if they match your contributions. A lot of employers match
No,
contributions.
no.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
no,
don't
no,
know
no.
enough about the ACTRA plan.
Yeah.
But the other thing is they take it right off your paycheck. Again, that whole thing of being disciplined. They take it
Yeah.
off your paycheck. They deduct your income
That's,
tax at source. It's great.
that was big in the States when I lived in the States. What do they call the 1K, that 100K?
The
or-
401k?
Yeah, 401K. Yeah, they always matched it and took it out of their thing, so people were okay. I didn't know that they did that here. Did they start to do it, or were they always doing it?
What, the 401k or the
The
contributions?
Canadian contributions and companies matching
You know,
it.
it's an interesting comment. Employers can set up a group RSP for employees, and they don't have to match. They do not have to
Sure,
match
that's
contributions.
because if you're an owner, that's really hard on the company.
Tell me about it.
I mean, you know.
Well, you'd be surprised the number of... I deal with a lot of business owners. A very inexpensive way for a business owner to provide their employees with a retirement plan is to set up a group RSP without matching. All they do is they allow the employees to buy the RSPs with pre-tax dollars. They don't have to match. If they have an employee who's done a great job, at the end of the year they can top them up. Like it's
With a bonus.
voluntary, absolutely, and very limited. There's no cost to the employer. It's simply a payroll deduction. But I'm not seeing a lot of business owners setting up pension plans where they actually match and contribute. Maybe it's a statement on the economy. I don't know. But a lot of there's only a few of my clients who do that, who really match their contributions. It's a nice thing to do, though, and that's the kind of employer.
Oh, if there was heaven on earth. Yeah.
Now, John,
yes.
we've only got about 5 minutes
Okay.
left. I want to make sure we touch on all the points that you want to bring
Okay.
here today. So far, we've done 2 tips. Are there more tips?
There's more tips. Okay. The other thing is, everyone loves to invest in Canada, and for the past 10 years, we have been the economy to invest in. It's done really well. There has been, as you know, there was a major meltdown in the United States with the financial markets and their banks. Our banks have fared very well, and that's been great for us. That being said, there's an excellent argument to suggest that you should have some kind of diversification outside of the Canadian market. We're great in certain things. We're great in banking. We're great in minerals and rocks, various telecommunications. We're weak in other market sectors, healthcare, certain scientific breakthroughs, all that sort of stuff. So you really should consider investing outside of just the Canadian marketplace.
Are you going to say Chindia?
Shindia. And that is another point. You should consider, thank you very much. See, where'd you hear about that?
On the Money Talk show.
There you go. That's right. That's right.
What is it?
It's a fabulous show right here at that channel.
No. Chindia. God. Promote.
Chindia.
Okay.
So you know what it is, right? Can
Is
you
that
figure it out?
China, India?
Thank you very much.
Is it?
Absolutely.
I just made that up.
It was coined a term, and so that is
Okay.
my next comment. So talking about investing outside of Canada. Now, before I get into that, the U.S. has been panned for the past few years as far as investing, and I think it's a great time to invest down
Buying
there.
opportunity. It's
Yeah.
like,
In fact, a couple of the funds that I'm involved in, and I am involved with mutual funds, are aggressively purchasing U.S. stocks because they feel especially if they're value managers, and I'm not sure if that means anything, they're actually looking for the price of the share to be appropriately priced, and if they think it's on sale, they buy it and wait for it naturally to rise up to its level. They feel the United States, a lot of the larger U.S. companies are on sale. So that is the contrarian in me suggesting that might be an interesting place to invest. As well, emerging markets. So that there is a huge amount of growth going on in the emerging markets. I don't need to tell you that. I know we only have a short period of time here. I have never visited China and India. I've certainly read about them enough, and I know that basically a lot of things we are purchasing are made there. India has 1 billion people. There's a middle class equivalent to the size of the United States, and these people are driving the economy. They're buying cars, they're buying houses, they're maybe even getting things like mortgages, all that sort of stuff. So these are economies, they're growing at about 9%. Our economies are growing in North America at about 2%. Where do you think there's going to be more growth, right? Huge opportunities. So I'm not suggesting all your portfolio be there, but certainly part of it.
Yeah.
And I always give the caveat, by the way, whenever someone like myself comes on these shows, we talk about all the opportunities. You really have to speak with a financial advisor to determine the suitability of yourself with respect to it, with respect to these markets. So, someone like my mother should not be in emerging markets, but other investors who are younger and can enjoy some of the volatility might want to consider it, because it will be 30% of market capitalization the next 10 years. May as well buy it now. It's on sale and watch the growth. So those are some tips. I could keep going. How am I doing for time?
You've got 2 minutes.
we got 2 minutes. John.
Okay. A couple other things you could do, and this is just in consideration. Consider, depending on your income, taking out a loan for investment purposes with respect to an RSP. Again, Marla, your point being, you're maybe one of those persons who should not participate in RSPs, but some people need the tax break. And if they're getting something back, they can take their refund and throw it into a tax-free savings account, something like that. Another excellent tip, as I was alluding to, is there are investments out there that have guarantees. So again, we're talking about investing in equity stocks. They can go down. There are investments out there that say at the end of 10 or 15 years, if the market is completely plummeted and your original investment is only worth 40% of what it originally started with, they guarantee to refund you all the original investments that you put into it. So just some tips.
That sounds good.
It's great. And these were designed for the boomers. The boomers, as you know, we're all getting older. I'm a boomer. And we can't just have inflation funding our retirement. We need a couple of million bucks in the bank, and you can't do that at 2.5% rate of return.
And that's just to pay for the old folks home.
That's right. That's right. You're absolutely right. So just some other things.
Well, it's great that you're here, John. So basically, it's that time of year.
Yes.
People should come and see you. They want to have a smart tax
How do they find
strategy,
you?
Okay.
and they want to get ready for retirement. They come and see you, right?
Absolutely.
And also, you're bullish. Before we get to the contact info, you seems like you're a little bullish on the economy, the U.S. economy, the stock market.
I really am. I think the next couple of years, everything I've read points to it being a very interesting run for stocks. And I think there's an excellent opportunity for people to participate. Again, always speak with your financial advisor and know your risk and know how much volatility you can take. But that's a great thing. The other thing is too, I'm also like corporate bonds. Those are kind of interesting.
Yes.
And
Government bonds?
I don't like government bonds as much. I like corporate bonds because the interest rates are really low right now, and interest rates, if they rise, will decrease the value of the bond. But corporate bonds are very much in vogue. They have some. Those are put out by corporations who distribute yields for loaning money. So just some interesting thoughts.
Okay, John. How do people get in touch with you if they want to save money and get ready for retirement?
You can go to my website, northwoodmortgagelife.com. There's contact information there. You can request our newsletter. You can email us. You can call us at the office at 416-969-8130 and ask for myself, extension 230. And of course, go to our website, northwoodmortgagelife.com. We're on 680 News, 590, and about 10 other stations, and ThatChannel, of course, .com.
Wow, we're honored to have you on this station with all that notoriety of great radio stations, and now you're on ours.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. When's your next show?